And hello everyone, welcome back to another Bootstrap tutorial. So in this tutorial we'll be looking at drop-down buttons. So let's jump right in. We can create a div with a class of drop-down. And in here all of our items for the button will finally be placed. So we need the button itself, which will be a button, with the class of btn primary, and then just drop down toggle, because this will toggle the drop down for us. And then click me to toggle, and then here we have our toggle button. Currently it doesn't quite toggle anything, but we have the button. We can then create the menu itself by going ul and giving it a class name of drop down menu. And then with each li element, we need an a tag, or we don't necessarily need to be an a tag. It can be any tag, but usually when you have a drop down button, it will link you somewhere, and that's where the a tag comes in. So li, and then an a tag inside of each one with the class of drop down item, and we can just give it some text. We can then just copy and paste this a few times. We can say text1, or that should be text1, but okay, and then like this. Now when we click here, it should be toggling, and you know what? We should just specify that it is a toggle button by going data bs for Bootstrap and then toggle, and it will toggle drop down. Cool. Now we go like this. There's our text, and that's a basic drop down. We can also add a drop down divider by just going li and just putting an hr tag in here with the class of drop down divider, and this will create a divider for us. So when we create another drop down item, you just go here and say another item. Then now there's a nice divider here, and underneath it another item. We can also specify titles or headers for each section here by just going here, li, and then in h5 this will just determine the size, and then drop down header, and in this heading. And now we have a header. Let's add another header right here, and we can say following header. And now here we have a header, and here we have another header. You can also have enabled and disabled items. So by default they're just regular, so normal, and then we can also have active and then disabled. Now we have a blue one because it is active, and then we have a disabled one which looks like it's not clickable, but take note, this is just styling purposes. This is still clickable, but it looks disabled. You can also specify where to it should be drop downing to. So here we could maybe just go margin left 5, or just margin. And I have a nice margin here where we can really see what's happening. So then here, let's try and make it drop down to the side here. So here we can just add another item saying drop end, and this will mean we're going to drop down to this side, as you can see. And I'll drop down to this side. You can also go drop start, and it will do the opposite, and now drop down at this end. Well, there's not enough space, but if we were to add more space by just quickly adding some styling, then now that should be enough space for the drop down to appear. And there we go. Now the drop down finally appears on this side. You can also align the drop down. So if we were to just remove this and maybe make this much longer, so just giving it some lorem, and it needs to be this long. Then if we click here and we were to just remove this drop start, you'll notice it's aligned to the left, but we can also make it aligned to the end or to the right by saying drop down menu end. Then when we click it, it will be aligned to the right. And that is the basics of a drop down in Bootstrap. Very simple, but also very effective and very useful. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all again in the next Bootstrap tutorial.